Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Let us read Sutra number 16 and 17. Parinamatraya Sanyamat Atita Anagata Jnanam Shabdartha Pratyayanam Itaretara Sankaraha Tat Pravibhaga Sanyamat Sarvabhuta Rutajnanam. Now we'll enter the 18th Sutra. Samskara Sakchatkaranat Purvajati Jnanam. What we are trying to study is when we are able to achieve the basic thing called as the Sanyama. This example probably I gave you earlier. We learn to shoot by a gun in our shooting range. So that is our abhyas. After that is learned, we have become expert. We can reach the target perfectly well because we have attained Sanyama on that particular thing. Now thereafter, what we shoot is our free choice. Similarly, Sanyama Trayamekatra Sanyamaha, we are able to first of all discover by proper practice Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. And when these three things are done simultaneously for the same thing, it is called as Sanyama. Now this faculty, where do we apply? So, Samskara Sakshat Karanat, when we apply this Sanyama, this ability to focus. Now there are two ways of looking at it. One is ability to focus and the second is ability to do Bhavana. Both have the same meaning. Ability to do Bhavana is called as the path of devotion. And ability to focus in the same thing, same place for a long time is called as the Sanyama. So Bhavana and Sanyama, they are same. They are not different. So, Samskara Sakshat Karanat, by the when you do the Samskara Sakshat Karanam, when you focus attention, do the Bhavana of the earlier Samskar, Purvajatehe of the earlier life, Jnanam, one is able to get the knowledge. Now, in his Bhashya, Bhagwan Veda Vyasa writes, Ami samskaraha khalu dvaye. Now these samskara are of two types. Which are those two types? One is smriti klesha hetavaha vasana rupaha. One type of samskara is vasana, impressions. And what these impressions do? They are the cause for the smriti and the klesha. So old memories come up because of the samskara and the panchakleshas. Which are the panchakleshas? Avidya, asmita, ragadvesha, abhiniveshaha, panchakleshaha. So these panchakleshas and the smriti, these are because of the samskara called as the vasana. Vasana rupaha, panchaklesha, smriti, klesha, hetavaha. And the second type of samskar, impressions are vipaka hetavaha dharma dharma rupaha. The second type of samskar is vipaka hetavaha, cause for the present life. Vipaka hetavaha. And what they are? Dharma dharma rupaha. They are of the nature of dharma adharma. So, in this manner, these are two types of samskara. Now see, this is very clear. First samskara is those because of which we remember the things of the past, and also the pancha kleshas are created because of this samskara. Now what is the meaning? The meaning is ignorance of one's own self as a jiva, whether you are in the human form or you are in the animal form. When you have accepted yourself to be a jiva, now who will accept ourselves to be jiva? Not the animals, not the plants, it is the human being. Because all the study of the scriptures, etc., is made for the human beings, not for the animals, etc. So, these pancha kleshas, ignorance about oneself, then asmita, the I-ness, then raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, and abhinivesha, identification with the body. These are common for everybody. Now the second kind of samskara are dharma dharma rupaha. So we have lived in the past with the dharma or the adharma, and as a result what happened? Dharmasya phalam sukham and adharmasya phalam dukkham. And the sukha dukkha that we get in the present life, the jati ayur bhogaha, the place where we get the birth, then the longevity that we have, and the sukha dukkha, joy and sorrow that we get, they are because of the second type of samskar called as dharma adharma vipaka hetavaha. You see how clearly it is brought out. Now te purva bhavabhi sanskritaha. Now all these samskara, both the vasana rupa and dharma dharma rupaha, both kinds of samskara, they are purva bhava abhisanskritaha. They are accumulated in our last life, purva bhava, earlier life. And how they are? They are parinama cheshta nirodha shakti jivana dharma vad aparidrushta chitta dharmaha. And they are unknown, aparidrushta. They are the chitta dharmaha. These are the impressions on the chitta which are unknown to us. Just like what? Just like parinama cheshta nirodha shakti jivana dharma vat. This we have seen earlier. So, teshu sayyamaha, when we do the sayyam on them, that on them means what? On these two types of samskar, vasana rupaha and dharma dharma rupaha. On these two samskars, when we do the sayyama, sakshat kriyayaihi samarthaha. So, sakshat kriyayaihi samarthaha. Then when we do the sayyama, we are able to re-experience those things. See? If you remember, I told you once about one book, and that book is that Many Master, Many Lives. If you happen to get some time, read that book. If I have here, I'll give you. There, that psychiatrist is treating the patient, and he puts her into the hypnotic trance, and she migrates in her earlier lives in no time. And then start describing everything. And she starts reliving all those past experiences. And in that past experiences, when she relives, then the problems which she was suffering in the present life, when she has relived those past experiences, that problems disappear. Such as, she used to have fear of darkness. Then when she was migrating in her earlier lives, one particular experience she relives. And after she relives that experience, she shouts and all that. And thereafter, I left that body, immediately she is calm and quiet. So in this manner, the earlier experiences, when they are relived, by this Sayyama, Sakshat Kriyayai, then Tesham Deshakala Nimitta Anubhavaihi Vina Sakshat Karanam Janasti. Now those experiences cannot be experienced without reference of the time, space and object and situation where those experiences took place. As a result, what happened? Taditham samskara sakshat karanad yoginaha purvajati jnanam. And because of that, the yogis are able to experience or know the purvajati jnanam, the knowledge regarding the earlier births. This is how the power of Sayyama takes you back in time, space and object through the experience, because no experience can be without reference of time, space and object. So, Purvajati Jnanam Utpadyate. Now, Paratrapi Evameva Sakshat Karanad Parajati Samvedanam and Paratra Api. So, when the same Sayyama is done on the lives of others. See? I have a friend, now he is I think very old. He talks about his past like we talk about our 1 week. Last week, I was in Calcutta, then I went to Bombay, and then I went to Madras, and then I came over here, and yesterday evening I reached, and today I am with you. So like we talk about 1 week, he talks about 7 lives in the past. Now how that can be done? This is the technique. So, when samskara sayyama is done, and the same thing is applicable even for the other. So, evam eva samskara sakshat karanat paratra api parajati samvedanam. One is able to know the experiences of others' lives, who were they. I have come across many Mahatmas, the Purushas, and they always tell this kind of thing. One person told me, he is a married one, and his wife was so happy when she saw me for the first time. I had never seen her, she has never seen me. And I was there for 2-3 days. When I left, she cried. And then she was telling, I don't know why I am feeling so much loss when Swamiji is going. I never seen him earlier. So her husband told, I'll tell you what, you were his daughter 2 lives before. And therefore, you have got such a tremendous attraction for him. So, parajati jnanam, when the sayyama is done on the samskar of others, this is possible. Now, atra idam akyanam shruyate. Now, to make this point, he tells a story. There is a story. What is the story? Bhagavataha Jaigi Shavyasya Saksha Samskara Sakshatkarnat Dashasu Mahasargeshu Janma Parinama Anukrama Pashyataha Vivekajam Dhyam Pradur Abhavat. There was a great Mahatma called as Jaigi Shavya, and he had the Samskara Sakshatkar for how many? Dashasu Mahasargeshu. Imagine. For the 10 Mahakalpas. And he knew everything. Janma, Marana, Krama, Anupashyataha. He has known all the things that has happened in his past. And this Viveka Jnanam Pradur Abhavat. And he had the knowledge about his total past. Now, then what happened? Atha Bhagavan Atav Avatyaha Tanudharaha Tam Uvacha. Now, there was another Rishi called as Avatya Rishi, and this Avatya Rishi said to this Jigishavya that you are such a great Mahatma who lived for 10 Mahasarga, and during that period, Anabhibhuta Buddhi Sattvena, but you were never influenced by the negative tendencies in all your lives. Such is the great Buddhi Sattvena, great character you have. So, such a you, Naraka Tiriyaga Garbha Sambhavam Dukkham Sampashyata, and you have gone through many lives, Naraka, Sargam, etc. Garbha Sambhavam, and you were born again and again. And you have seen many kinds of miseries. Now, where you have gone, Deva Manusheshu Punaha Utpadyamanena Tvaya Sukha Kim Adhikam Upalabdham. So you have gone through so many lives of all kinds of births, and you have gone through so many miseries. Now I want to know which is the most rememberable or the most terrible experience of miseries that you had. Kim adhikam upalabdham sukham va dukkham, either joy and sorrows. So Bhagavantam avatyam jaigi shavya uvacha. Then to that Bhagavantam avatyam, to that Bhagavan avatya jagi shavya rishi said, Dashasu mahasargeshu bhavyatvat anana vibhuta buddhisatvena maya naraka tiryak bhavadukham sampashyata. The same thing he repeats. I who lived for 10 mahakalpas, mahasargas, and gone through many, many lives, and gone through naraka tiryak bhavadukham sampashyata, and seen all kinds of miseries, where deva manusheshu punah utpadyamanena maya, and I was born again in the various births like deva, human being, etc. That me yatkinchit anubhutam tat sarvam dukkham eva pratyavayami. So I have come to this conclusion. Any experience in any birth is nothing but misery. There is nothing like happiness in any life. This is what I have understood, I know. Bhagavan avatyaha uvacha yadidam ayushmataha pradhanavashitvam anuttam cha santosha sukham. Sir, you are such a long-living chiranjeeva, ayushmataha, and you have prakriti vijaya, prakriti vashitvam or pradhana vashitvam. You have complete control over the matter, and therefore you have santosha. So, anuttamam cha santosha sukham. So you have got this anuttamam sukham, santosha sukham, because we have seen earlier, santoshat anuttama sukha labhaha. Then how do you say that you have got only miseries on all the lives? Because you have got control over your matter, so you have got santosha, contentment. How this can be understood? So, kim idam api dukkha pakshi nikshiptam. So this happiness that you get out of the contentment, santosha, do you even classify this also as a misery? Iti. Thus he was asked. So Bhagavan Jaigi Shavya Uvacha, he said, Idam santosha sukham vishaya sukhapekshaya anuttamam uktam. This santosha sukham, the happiness out of contentment, is definitely superior than the indulgence gained happiness. There is no doubt about it. However, kaivalya sukha apekshaya dukkhameva. But this santosha, this contentment is nothing but misery with reference to the kaivalya. And what is the kaivalya? Where sajatiya vijatiya svagata bheda rahita vastu kaivalyam ekameva aditiya. Because there is no touch of prakriti or the duality. And therefore, in comparison to that, this santoshat anuttama sukhalabha, it is only at the level of the prakriti or the mind. It is not the real happiness. Therefore, don't be content with the happiness of the contentment. You have to go beyond that. Otherwise, many people get caught up. See, these are very important points to be remembered in life. Many people have got this kind of, this is called as tushti bhava. These are the vigna. These are the obstacles on the spiritual path. Which are those? Now I just don't like to go and see the movies, and I don't get involved. I don't like to talk to people, and I simply do it, and I don't care for anything. Minimum things are there is more than enough. Now my mind is totally withdrawn. Maybe you are in depression. So this contentment should be viewed with caution. Should not be mistaken that is the ultimate in life. No. Now why this santosha is also dukkhameva hi? Because buddhisattvasya ayam dharmaha. See? Contentment is where it is lying. What is the foundation? Ayam buddhisattvasya dharmaha. This santosha is the dharma of the antakaran. And Antakaran is, today it is Santosha, tomorrow who knows what is going to happen. It is going to change suddenly. Therefore, Buddhisattvasya ayam dharmaha and Trigunaha Trigunascha Pratyaha, and therefore belong to the Trigunatmika Prakriti, and therefore Heya Pakshe Nyastaha, and therefore it has to be rejected. You cannot hold on to this Santosha as the supreme. Then why this Yoga Sutrakar says Santoshat Anuttama Sukhalabha? Because Trishna Tantuhu Dukkha Rupaha. The rope binding by the rope of the desire or Trishna is of the nature of misery. Now Trishna Dukkhasya Apagamat, when we have freed ourselves from the longing for the worldly enjoyment, that time what I idam prasannam abadham sarvanukulam sukhamuktam. And therefore the santoshat sukha uttama sukhalavaha, it is not a positive happiness. Because you are no more tortured by the longings in the world. And therefore the santoshat sukhalavaha, anuttama sukhalavaha, it is only in the field of Prakriti. It has not yet reached the Paramatma Tattva. And therefore, this samskarat purva jati jnanam, samskara sanyamat purva jati jnanam. Now, in the next sutra, pratyasya parachitta jnanam, pratyaye sanyamat pratyasya sakshat karnat tataha parachitta jnanam. Now here, this is the fourth siddhi that is being counted. Now what is this fourth siddhi? Pratyaye, parapratyaye. When this yogi is able to do the sayyama on the chitta of others, not only his, chitta of others, then what is sayyamat, sakshat karnat, tataha, tataha parachitta jnanam. One is able to know what is going on in the mind of others. This is how many Mahatmas, they apply this technique. They focus their attention on the other person's chitta and are able to know everything. It is something like this, Suppose there are two containers separate from each other, and you and both the containers are containing water. Now in one container you start stirring the water. It will have no impact on the waters in the other container because they are separate. Now suppose the wall is broken and these two containers are joined. And then whatever movement or stirring of the water in one container is made, it will be also having its influence in the water of the other container. Why? Now they are joined together. If this example is clear, by this sayyama, what the yogi is doing, he is breaking the barrier of separateness from his mind and other people's mind. And in fact, chitta ek hai, there is only one, they are not many. Consciousness is one. Because of the samskara, they are separate. Like if you take the seeds, one seed of the chili and other that of the tomato, both of them look similar type. Both of them are made out of the same 5 great elements. If you analyze them, they will give you the result of 5 elements only. Then what is that which makes them different from each other? The samskara. Now what the yogi is able to do, that because he has transcended and conquered the influence of the samskara on himself, and therefore he is able to penetrate and go in the minds of others. And as a result, pratyasya parachitta jnanam. So when he does this sayyama on the other people's mind, he is able to know that. So, Raktam pratyam janati amushmin alambane raktamiti na janati. Now, after having told this, there is one thing which still remains, which is not included in this Sayyama or in this Siddhi. And what is that? This is said in the 20th Sutra. Nacha tat salambanam tasya avishayi bhutatvad. Nacha tat salambanam parachitta jnanam na salambanam. When the yogi is able to do this Sayyama on the other people's mind, he is able to know that what is going on in their mind. However, etat siddhi prapta yogi pratyam parachittam raktam janati, raktam ragatmaka janati knows. He knows about the chitta of other people. Kintu amishmun alambane raktam iti na janati. But that person is not able to know, that yogi is not able to know that this particular person is having tremendous attachment. And because of that he is suffering. Now to what object or a theme this particular person is attached, that he cannot know. So only the symptoms are known, but because of what he is disturbed, it is not known. So, raktamiti na janati, therefore para pratyesa yad alambanam tad na alambani kritam. Because when he was doing the Sayyama on the chitta of other, he has not done the Sayyama on the contents of the chitta of others. He has known only the chitta. That this chitta is disturbed, this chitta is happy, this chitta is having attachment, this chitta is having frustration, depression, remembering something. This is known. But what is the subject matter of that chitta cannot be known by the yogi, because his Sayyama is not on the Vishaya, the subject matter on which that other person's mind is reveling. This is what is said here. Therefore, Parapratyesa yad alambanam tad na alambani krutam. Parapratya matram tu yogi chittasya alambani bhutam iti. Therefore, this yogi is only focusing attention only on the parachitta, other people's mind. Now, after having done this, before we go to the next siddhi, one or two things we all have to understand, that what is the Sayyama we are talking about? This Sayyama, if we have practiced in our last life, in this life we will be born with extremely bright faculty. And what is the extremely bright faculty? You must have seen some people, they read once and everything is known. They don't have to struggle. And some people go on reading, it doesn't go in their head. What is the reason? Because their Sayyama is not there. And what is the Sayyama? Trayamekatra Sayyamaha. So the ability to focus on any given theme, which is responsible for gaining the knowledge of anything in this world, is the result of this ability to do the Sayyama. And this Sayyama is nothing but the immense hidden power of the mind. So all these deep powers of the mind are released when we are able to do the Sayyama. This is how the Sayyama is to be understood. Now, for practicing this Sayyama is all spiritual practice. Now, what is that spiritual practice that we do? We sit in one posture, asana. And if we do the Sayyama on the posture, immediately the body will become standstill. And all the secret of the asana will be revealed to you. I tell you how One day one person told me this thing. He said, Swamiji, I have been doing meditation, I went to many spiritual camps, I met many Mahatmas, but nobody has given me the solution for my legs going to sleep. But you have told, and it is so perfect. Now I don't have that problem. Now my legs don't go to sleep. And how many people I have tried, so many people I have asked, they simply say, no, reduce the weight, do this, do that. But what is the technique they were told? So which is the book that you have studied? I said, what I am telling you is not from the book. When you sit quiet and do the Sanyama on the posture, then all the details about the posture are revealed to you. And what are the details? When your weight lands exactly in the center of gravity, your all other portions, limbs, etc., they are free from the weight of the body. When they are free from the weight of the body, there will be no compression of your arteries or the veins. Therefore, there won't be accumulation of the lymph or the blood. And because there is no accumulation of lymph or blood, there will not be any numbing effect. Now, when you start doing it, if your legs are sleeping, find out. And how can you do that? When you have that ability to do the Sanyam. So by the Sanyama alone, the secrets are revealed. And this Sanyama, therefore, should be applied in discovering one's weaknesses, discovering one's mistakes, discovering one's, abilities, and then you grow spiritually. Then you don't require any external support. Please tell me what sadhana I should do. No. You have to discover your own sadhana. Nobody can tell you. So, this is the importance of this Sanyama. Now in the 21st Sutra, Kaya Rupa Sanyamat Tadgrahya Shakti Stambhe Chakshuhu Prakasha Asamprayoge Antardhanam. Now, this is the fifth Siddhi. Kaya Rupa Sanyamat. When you do the Sanyama on the form of the body, Kaya Rupa, the form of the body, then what happens? Tad Grahya Shakti Stambhe. How any form is known? Any form is known by our eyes or anybody's eyes when the form is forming a image on the retina of that particular man's eyes, and then that image is illumined. This is what happens. Now when Kaya Rupa Sanyamat, when this is done, Tad Grahya Shakti Stambhe, the ability of the other people to comprehend that particular form is held. His vision cannot go and take care of or touch the body form of this Mahatma. See, there is one person, he showed me one picture. Even in the life of Lahiri Mahasaya, there is only one picture of Lahiri Mahasaya. There are not many pictures. The reason is, he said, no, don't. Only once he allowed somebody. And then only one picture. There is no other picture. Why? Because anybody takes picture, he will do this. Kaya Rupa Sanyamat. You take the picture, nothing will come. Similarly, I have seen in somebody's picture, he said, Swamiji, see, there was such and such Mahatma, and he never used to like, anybody taking picture. So, one person was very smart. He just went and hide himself somewhere, and when all other people are there, this Mahatma was also there, and he has taken a snap. And after coming, he said, now I will show you the snap of this picture of Mahatma. And he went, developed the picture, and exactly in that space where this Mahatma was there was a blankness. Now how this happens? This is the technique. Kaya Rupa Sayama Tad Grahya Shakti Stambhe Chakshuhu Prakacha Asamprayoge. The eyes are not able to illuminate. They are not able to contact. And therefore Antardhanam. It appears as if this Mahatma has disappeared. Therefore, Kaya Rupe. Now whose Kaya Rupe? This is the question. On this there is a lot of discussion. Because it is not mentioned in the sutra. So, when you do the Sanyam on the form of the body, naturally which body becomes, disappears, Antardhana? The body of the yogi. So there cannot be Sanyama on the body of others. So this is one view which sounds better. But there are other views also. They say Kaya Rupa Sanyama means Kaya Rupa, the form of the body, is taken as an abstract thing. So you do the Sanyama on the form of the body. Now this is not possible because form of the body, which body, whose body? This question will always come. Therefore, when the yogi is doing the Sanyama on the shape and the form of his body, Swa Sharirasya Rupe, then Sanyamat Rupasya ya Grahya Shaktihi Tam Pratibadnati. So, how a particular thing is known? Now see, this is how subtle it is. Space does not have any particular form. And because of that, our eyes cannot see the form. Because eyes can see only the colors and form. The presiding factor on the eyes is the Rupa Tanmatra. So, when this Sanyama is done, as a result, Sanyamat Rupasya Grahya Shakti Tam Pratibadnati. This Shakti, that because of which the form can be comprehended, it is Pratibadnati, it is held. It is not allowed to function. Something like, from a remote control, you do something and the vehicle doesn't move. Pratibadnati. Then, Grahya Shakti Stambhe Sati. And when this happens, when the ability to comprehend the color and form, that is held, Chakshu Prakasha Asamprayoge. Then the eyes are not able to comprehend the color and form of this particular Mahatma. And as a result, Tataha Parakiya Chakshu Janitena Prakashena Jnana Asamprayogaha Chakshu Jnana Vishetvam Yoginaha Kayasya Iti. Therefore, the other people are not able to focus their attention on the color and the form of that particular yogi. As a result, what happened? Yoginaha antardhanam utpadyate. And therefore it is said, oh, the yogi was here, he has disappeared. He has not disappeared. The ability of the people to see him, that has been stambhanam, that has been held. And therefore it appears as if that he has disappeared. Now, one more step. About this I will give one or two examples also. Etena सूत्रोक्त चक्षु गोचरता विषयत्वेन शब्द आदि अंतर्धानम स्पर्श अंतर्धानम रस अंतर्धानम गंध अंतर्धानम उक्तम वेदितव्यम. Like in the Rupa Antardhanam, the form cannot be comprehended because of the Sanyama. Similarly, one can do the Sanyama on the Shabda Antardhanam. You speak, but if you don't want, if the yogi doesn't want, the other fellow should not listen, then others cannot listen. This happens, in the lives of many great Mahatmas. When they want to tell, like, in the life of somewhere, there was a Mahatma Udhuta, and he told, my good friend is coming, keep everything nice. He is very fussy about cleanliness. Okay, his devotees do that. Now they expect, now when that Mahatma will come, now our Maharaj and that Maharaj will talk and then we'll listen and all that. So that Mahatma comes, stands before him for 5 minutes. And without uttering a single word or without exchange of any words, he goes. And when this happens, the onlookers, we thought, you will talk, tell us something and all that. So he says, no, we have spoken. But you can't hear. This is Shabda Antardhanam. Similarly, the next is the Sparsha Antardhanam. Unless they accept or they want, nobody can touch them. Now about this, one story comes in the life of our Shirdi Sai Baba. There was one of his devotee, a Gujarati, very sincere devotee. And he has taken Shirdi Sai Baba as Lord Shiva himself. And therefore one Shivratri told that I will like to give you bath on the Shivratri, please don't say no, and I will get the water from the Godavari and give. So seeing this devotion, he said okay. And he went for 8 miles from that place. Godavari is 8 miles. He went early morning and took bath and a big pot put on his head, and he walked back all the 8 miles, and the water was brought. Now I am so happy, I am going to give bath to my Lord Shiva. And then Shirdi Sai Baba told him, look here, you just put little bit on my head, it's more than enough. There is no need to give me bath totally. Okay? So he said okay. And then when he was pouring, he was so overpowered by his emotion, he didn't listen to him. And he poured the total bucket or the pot on him so that he will be given a thorough bath. Now only that portion which he has allowed, you may put little water on my head, only that portion became wet. And rest of the water has fallen, but it has not touched him or his body. Now, why this, how this happens? Here is the explanation. Because Sparsha Antardhanam. So, then Rasantardhanam. So is also about the taste. Gandha Antardhanam. Some people have these various kinds of siddhis. We have seen, when you do the dharana on the jivhagra, you develop the rasa samvid. When you do the dharana on the nasikagra, you develop the gandha samvid. We have seen this thing in the first chapter. So here also all these things put together is this antardhanam, uktam veditavyam. Therefore only rupa antardhanam should not be mistaken that this is the only thing. But kaya rupa sanyamat tad grahi shakti stamme chakshu prakasha asamprayoge antardhanam. Similarly, instead of kaya rupa, then you can take the gandha and then the rasa, the sparsha, sanyamat tad grahi shakti stamme. Then instead of chakshu, if you take the rasa, then the rasana prakasha asamprayogat antardhanam, that is rasa antardhanam. They will not be able to have any taste. In this manner, these are the siddhis developed by this Sayyama on the Pancha Mahabhutas Tanmatras. So these are the siddhis developed when you focus on the Tanmatra. So Shabda Tanmatra, Gandha Tanmatra, Rupa Tanmatra, Rasa Tanmatra, etc. Now, continuing this in the 22nd sutra, the teacher tells, Sopakramam nirupakramancha karma Tatsayamat Aparantas jnanam Arishtebhyo va. Now here karma is of 2 types, sokrama and nirupakrama. And tat sayamat, when you do the sayama on this karma, you get the knowledge about your death, as well as you also can get the knowledge about your death by the arishta, or by the what you call omens, if you study the omens. Now what is that? This is the sixth type of siddhi that is being spoken of. Now, sopakramam nirupakramancha karma. The karma is of two types. One is sopakrama and second is nirupakrama. Now, what is the meaning of sopakrama and nirupakrama? This is explained in a very beautiful manner. It is said, Ayur vipakam karma dvividham. The karma is of two types, because of which we get the present life. Ayur vipaka karma, in our Vedanta we will call it as prarabdha karma. So Ayur vipaka karma is of two types. What is that? Sopakramam and nirupakramam. Now what is the meaning of sopakramam, nirupakramam? He has given example. Yatha ardravastvam vitanitam laghiyasa kalena shusheta तथा सोपक्रमम तथा तदेव संपिंडितम चिरेण संशुष्येत एवं निरुपक्रमम यथा च अग्निः शुष्के कक्षे मुक्तः वातेन समन्ततः युक्तः क्षेपीयसा कालेन दहेत तथा सोपक्रमम यथा वा स एवाग्नि तृणराशौ क्रमतः अवयवेषु न्यस्तः चिरेण दहेत निरुपक्रमम च. Now here these two things are given. What is the sopakramam and nirupakramam karma? Sopakramam karma is something like this. You have washed your clothes and nicely spread them properly and kept them in the bright sun or a place where nice air is flowing. Such a cloth will be dried quickly. And another type of cloth, sampinditam. You have washed your clothes and made a squeezing bundle out of their clothes, and it is very heavily raining all around. There is no possibility of any dryness, and you keep that cloth as it is. How much time it will take? Years together. In the same manner, sopakramam karma is that karma which starts fructifying immediately. So that karma which is giving the results immediately is called a sopakramam karma, and nirupakramam karma is that karma which takes a lot of time for the manifestation. So thus there are two types of karma which are responsible for giving us the experiences in the present life, and therefore they are karmashaya. Karmashaya of Yoga Shastra is called as prarabdha of the Vedanta Shastra. Now, tad aika bhavikam ayushkaram dvividham sopakramam nirupakramam cha tat sayamat aparantasya pranasya jnanam. Now, this sopakramam nirupakramam karma is what? Aika bhavikam. Aika bhavikam means what we are talking about, the immediate past life. Aika means eka. Ekasya bhavaha aika. So, we are talking about the karma which are the total karma of the past life, not earlier so many lives. If you remember, this is a very peculiar siddhanta of Yoga Shastra, where it is said that our total karma of the past life, they are responsible for giving the three things in the present life. That is the jati, the ayu and bhogaha. So the karmashaya is the summation or the total karma from our past life. They give the longevity, the birth and the various experiences in this life. Therefore, eka bhavikam ayushkaram, and that determines what is our longevity. Now, dvividham, it is of two types, sopakramam, nirupakramam. Now, tat sayamat, when we do the sayama on that, aparantasya pranasya prakarshena enam gamanam maranam ityartaha, marana mrityu. So, aparantasya prayanasya, that means of the death, Jnanam is able to give us the knowledge of the death. So when you are able to focus attention on this karma, now be very attentive. It is something like you have, let us say, a CD running, and you are not able to see the dial, how much time has elapsed and how much time is remaining. So you keep on listening, I don't know how much time more, you don't know. And suppose before you started playing the CD, you know that this CD is running for 78 minutes. So the karma impressions on that CD, you know, they last for 80 minutes or 78 minutes. Then you will know when it is going to be over. If this example is clear, in the same manner, when we focus attention on all our upakrama and nirupakrama, both kinds of sopakrama and nirupakrama karma, then what happens? We know these are the total karma load in the present life, and after this is over, I will be through. This is how many people get, and everybody gets in his life the primonium. When he is likely to die, one immediately knows, because the load of the karma is slowly getting exhausted with reference to this particular life. And whatever karma again we accumulated during the present life, they are responsible for the next life. This is how, when the people who write this horoscope, etc., when they tell you are going to live for so many years. Now how they know? Because of the chart, they know this is the total karma punja, the total accumulated karma because of which the present body is born, and this will be exhausted after so many years, and therefore they say your death is likely in this time. Like in case of Satya Sai Baba, they say he will be living up to 94 or 96 years. That's what he told a long time back. Now how does he know? Because everything is under his control. Sayyama, samskara sayyama, or karma sayyama. In this manner, aparantasya prayanasya jnanam. And this can also be known by the Trividham Arishtam. There are three types of omens which determine our possible death. Which are these three types? Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika. Now what is the Adhyatmika Arishta? Now Adhyatmika Arishta is Adhyatmika Pihita Karnaha Swadehe Ghosham Na Shrunoti Va Netre Avashtabdhe Jyotihi Na Pashyati. When our death is approaching, now if we are all alive, if you put your fingers inside your ears completely, you will see, you hear the sounds which are going on inside. When a person is approaching death, he does not hear that. This is one adhyatmic sign which tells that the death is approaching. Now the second is netre avashtabdhe. When you press your eyes with your fingers, you will see different kinds of stars. And if you don't see the stars, then you are due for departure. So every morning when you get up, dekh lo ek baar. I am going to leave today. These are all the omens which are told, Arishta. Then this is the Adhyatmik Arishta. Then what is the Adi Bhautik Arishta? Adi Bhautik Arishta is one starts seeing Yamma Purushan Pashyati, Atitan Pitrun Akasmat Pashyati. Like, in the life of this Ajamila, this thing comes. And many people, who were declared dead and then again they revive, those people tell their stories. Then I have seen such terrible, horrible looking black figures and they were doing something. In the story of Ajamila, the same thing comes. When Ajamila dies, that time the Yamadutas, they are there to take him away. And that time the Parshadas come. And he is able to see their dialogue and understand everything. So when you are likely to die, when your death approaches, you start getting these kinds of dreams. Therefore, don't talk about your dreams. Or Pitrun Akasmat Pashyati, or one sees the dead ones. Some old type. There was one person from Andhra, I think. Yes, he is from Andhra. And he was telling that my wife gets the dream of my mother. And my mother has tortured my wife like anything. And they were never going together. But I had no choice. And last few months, that my dead mother goes in her dream. And she is so disturbed because of that. And ultimately, his wife became totally derailed. And she was not able to became kind of and she was a very nice lady, I knew her very closely. And suddenly, there was only one thing, that her mother-in-law will come and scold her and do this thing, that thing. Within a period of very short time, a year or two, she became virtually mad kind of thing. And she never knew what she is doing. She doesn't know where she has gone. And she doesn't know what she is planning to do. Sudden blankness has come. And in that she died. So this is another arishta. Now the second, this was the Adi Bhautikam. Now the third is Adi Daivikam. Adi Daivikam is what? That Akasmat Swargam Sarva Viparitam Va Pashyati. You start seeing directly, you have gone to the heavens. Now where from you got the address? Because you have been hearing in the Satsang. So you have gone to the heavens. Like many people get this kind of dreams. One day one person told me, Swamiji, when I have come to this particular place, I am finding as if I have been living here for very long. This place is not new for me. I feel I have been living here very long. That means, you start getting the experience of your earlier existence. So here also, if you had come to this world from the Swarga, you start remembering them. And then you start also seeing the various gods and the Siddha Purushas. That means you are now booked in this manner. Or Sarvam Viparitam Va Pashyati. Or you start seeing everything upside down. What is the upside down? People are walking on the feet. Here you will see they are walking upside. Everybody is doing Shirshasana. What happened? When in this manner you start seeing, that means your death is approaching. So this is Trividha Arishtam. Aparantam Janati. Now here there are two things to be known. The knowledge about one's own death gained through the Sayyama is more authentic and more pinpointed. And the knowledge gained through the analysis of this Arishta, Trividha Arishtam, that is vague and not conclusive. And therefore, the Sayyama gives us a very clear picture about the possible death that we are likely to get. Now, we go to the seventh kind of Siddhi. Maitriyadishu Balani. Now when we do the Sayyama, now Sayyama you have to understand. Maitrayadishu Sayyamat Balani. So Sayyam has to be understood. As I told you, in Sutra, they use minimum words. Like we have seen in our Narad Bhakti Sutra, Pujadishu Anuragaha, Iti Parasharyaha, Kathadishu Gargaha. Now that Anuraga has to be understood. And Atmarati Avirodhana iti Shandilyaha. So Anuraga is a common verb in all the three. Here also, in the last one, what was said? Sayyama. So, Sopakramam Nirupakram cha karma tat sayyamat. So here also, Maitrayadishu Sayyamat Balani. This is how is the technique of writing, studying, interpreting, understanding the sutras. So, here the commentary of Bhagavan Veda Vyasa tells us, Sutragata Maitrayadishu Tatra Sukhiteshu Bhuteshu Maitri Bhavayitva Maitri Balam Lavate. When you are, see Bhavayitva, the important word is Bhavayitva, as I told you, Sayyama of the yoga and the Bhavana of the devotion, they are synonymous, they are not different. What the devotee does, devotee is doing the Bhavana. And what is the Bhavana? I am sitting in Badrinath and I am sitting before Bhagwan Narayana and the puja is going on and there is such a peace. There is nobody to disturb me. Now in this, what has happened? By this Bhavana, I have done the Sayyama on Badrinath, temple of Badrinath, the township of Badrinath, the sanctum sanctorum of Badrinath temple, the place where I was sitting. So this is called as the Sayyama of the Yoga Shastra or the Bhavana of the Bhakti Shastra. One and the same thing. This is what is said here. Maitrim Bhavayitva Sukhiteshu Bhuteshu. So, Chitta Sthairya. What is Bhavana? Bhavana is Chitta Sthairya. Your Chitta becomes completely immersed in one Bhavana. And such a person who is doing the Bhavana, he slowly starts getting those experiences. Like we have read in the life of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was expert in doing bhavanas. And because of that, he could do the sadhana of every religion. Only by bhavana. So in that bhavana, what he will do once he was doing the Hanumanji's upasana. And he became so much involved with Hanumanji that he started behaving like a monkey. He never used to walk, he used to jump like a monkey. And he used to leave the cloth of his dhoti like a tail in behind, because I am Hanumanji. Now where from this thing comes? This is bhavana. Now when this bhavana goes deeper and deeper, we are able to be one with that experience. This is what is called as Sayyama. Now the same thing we all see in our life. You must have seen sometime. In places like Bombay, etc., there was one child. And we are going in his car somewhere. And in the front, his father was sitting, his mother was sitting. I was sitting backside. I said, you husband and wife sit together and fight. Let me relax now. So I was sitting backside. And there are two children, daughter and son. Three of us were sitting behind. So I was in the corner, middle was his daughter, and right side corner was the child. Now the daughter was maybe about 15 or 16 and the brother was about 7 or 8 years and the car was going. And inside the car he was imagining that he is playing cricket. And they were continuously he was doing like that. So I asked his sister, she said he has gone mad. Every time he is doing that only. As if he is playing cricket, as if he is bowling, as if he has caught the ball, as if he has given a hit, 4 or a 6er. This kind of bhavana, when it is done with reference to something intensely, that leads to the sanyama. So, sukhiteshu bhuteshu, those who are the happy people. When you do the Maitri Bhavana, see, is it not true? When you remember someone who is all the time cheerful and happy, immediately you start getting that feeling. And when you remember somebody constantly complaining, frustrated, go away. We don't want to look at that fellow. So, sukhiteshu bhuteshu maitri bhavana bhavaitva maitri balam lavate. Now what is the maitri balam? Therefore, one is able to identify with the joys of others and we are able to experience the same joy. That is called as maitri balam. Now instead of this, suppose we are the other type. What are the other type? If somebody is happy, we are jealous, we are angry. Like, many people have got this one trump card against me. When I tell them, hey, come on, be happy, don't worry about anything, they get angry. Get married and show us how to be happy. So they become angry over my happiness. Now such people, they cannot understand that Sukriteshu Bhuteshu Maitri Bhavaitva Maitri Balam Lavate. They are not understood this. Therefore, this is in our interest. We must learn to be happy in the happiness of others. This is very simple spiritual practice. One person asked me, Swamiji, what is the secret of your life? I said, my secret is this. I am happy in the happiness of others. How come? I said, people get married and I am happy. The misery remains with them, but happiness is mine. And so many people get married, so I get so many times happiness. And everybody gets intensely miserable. Therefore, Sukhiteshu Bhuteshu Maitrim Bhavaitva Maitri Valam Labate. Similarly, Dukkhiteshu Karunam Bhavaitva Karunavalam Labate. And when somebody is miserable and if we have compassion, we help and we try to solve his problem, then we also get the same kind of feeling in our mind. And that becomes our strength, Karunavalam. See, it is something like, without any practice or effort, when you go to some place where somebody is dead and everybody is, sitting there with a morose face and all disgust, and only person who is happy is the one who is dead. He is not concerned about anything. So, Karuna Valam Lavate. Then, third, Punyashileshu Muditam Bhavaitva Mudita Valalavate. So, Punyashileshu, those who are of the nature of righteous lifestyle, Muditam Bhavaitva, when we are extremely happy to see the saints and sages. So, Punyashileshu means Sadhu Santa. When we are able to discover happiness, when we see the saints and sages, Mudita Balam Lavate. Therefore, Bhavanataha Yaha Samadhi Saha Sayyamaha. Now see how big definition it is. That Samadhi which is because of the Bhavana. Now remember the two words I explained you in Narad Bhakti Sutra. One was Vritti and second is Bhavana. This is an object is recognized by the Vritti. Bhavana is that this is a beautiful object, this is a nice object, this is the source of happiness. This is Bhavana. Now when the Bhavana is of higher order, what is the higher order? This is only a Shaligram stone, but no. This is my Lord Krishna, this is Narayana, I have to do the puja, poti. do naivedya. See, this is the bhavana. So, when our mind is comprehending something objectively, it is vritti, it is the thought. And whatever is comprehended through the thought, about that, what we start imagining and thinking is called as the bhavana. And if we have to do the bhavana, why not do a creative, positive bhavana? See? When we don't know somebody, do you know that fellow? No, I don't know him. How you got this knowledge? Through vritti. Then bhavana begins. But seems to be a cheat, Look at him, look at him. Now, where from the cheat has come? Because of our abhyas. We have been doing this bhavana. Whenever we look at somebody, we go on thinking negatively. This is how mudita balam punyashuleshu mudita bhavayitva labhate. So, yaha samadhi sa sayyamaha. In this manner, then what happens? Trayam ekatra sayyamaha tataha abandhya viryani abandhyam avyartham amogha viryam shakti cham tani tathoktani balani maitri balam karuna balam mudita balam jayante. So, abandhya viryani means what? Uncontrolled, unlimited strength is discovered by such a yogi on account of Maitri Bala, Karuna Bala and Mudita Bala. Jayante Pradurbhavanti. These things appear, come in the yogi. Now, we are seeing that there were 4 things. Last was papi. Now, what is for the papi? Papi, it is the upeksha. Now, why we do not do the bhavana on the upeksha? Now, this point is very beautifully brought out here. Upeksha, papashileshu, upeksha tu na bhavana. We cannot do the bhavana on the upeksha. Upeksha means indifference. The indifference is not a bhava. It is not something solid. Indifference is absence. And therefore, you cannot do the bhavana on the upeksha or the indifference. And therefore, tatascha tasyam upekshayam samadhi nasti. And therefore, when you do the bhavana of the upeksha, you will never get the samadhi. Upekshataha balam na tatra sayyama abhavan iti. Therefore, there is nothing like upeksha balam. Like we have got the Maitri balam, Karuna balam and Mudita balam. In the same manner, the 4th one is not upeksha balam, because upeksha is not something that you can talk about. Now, this thought continues further in the next sutra, where we will be told the 8th siddhi. We will take it in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.